So the first thing to be aware of, we're now doing with Tzadok, Vayechi, the first thing to be aware of is that the Bali Musu say, and there are many sources to this idea, that we have this concept of Chochma b'goyim tamim. Goyim have Chochma. Part of that is Musar. As from say that when you want to learn good midas, it could be that they can have a very, very good insight in how a person should work his midas. We know Rishos Lanter made this whole system called Cheshvan Nefesh, and it was taken from, I think, even from Benjamin Franklin, or some famous thing that he took from also that wasn't really Jewish. All those things are, Seder, different things, like cleanliness, are different things that are very, very general, and a person works on it and pays attention to it until he slowly but surely builds himself and makes things better. And so on the one hand, I want to sort of balance things out. On the one hand, he says what he says, but there's a bechina that's called derech eretz, that's general, that a person's supposed to have, and we have to learn how to get this derech eretz. Derech eretz called no Torah. A person doesn't derech eretz, and then there are diburim, not such good diburim. There's not kishmaka. It's not kishmaka. All these diburim that are not so good, not so nice. It's not what you're looking for. You want to be the person who has the derech eretz, who has who he's supposed to be, who is who he's supposed to be. So that's the first thing to be aware of. The Maisi have the beginning of the derech eretz, and derech eretz is important, and it's trying to be a mention whatever way we can, and we're hoping Hashem shall be zocheh to have derech eretz. Rabbi Nachman was very, very much in derech eretz. He said that if the kings knew how much he could educate the derech eretz, they would send their kids to him. And when he saw people acting the way that he felt was not derech eretz, they set aside a little honey, a little this, a little that. They were pushing. He like that's totally inappropriate. Like he totally was not. Derech eretz was very, very important to him. Now, on the other hand, you have to know that in general, Breslov is a tremendous koach to help people who are distant from Hashem, no matter how distant. So sometimes when you see someone who's distant, so derech eretz is the least of his worries. This guy's got real problems. Also derech eretz, and also it's like but he's by the doctor. When you're in an institution, someone needs a lot of help. So you don't be surprised that the inmates are not necessarily the most. They're just getting help. He needs help. That's where he's holding. So sometimes, unfortunately, there isn't derech eretz. It depends. We have to be zocheh. But really, we should know that if a person is really going the way of Rabbi Nachman, he's zocheh to have derech eretz. That's for sure. That's where we work now. It's something we need to see out the Shmaya for. That's for sure. So that's number one. He said, but Tzadok says that Parshas is the sefer of derech eretz that's before the Torah. That's what Parshas is. He said because it talks in general about the creation, right? That the world was settled and there was Dor HaMabul because they did whatever they did, so that blew everything to pieces. Right, and you go your own way, and you go a few taivas. Whenever there's no gezel and arayas, it's like no, you can't. That's not gonna last. That's not a lasting. It's not a sheet that's gonna happen. He said you have all these different mitzvahs, sichlios, these different intellectual mitzvahs that are before the world. That's here he brings this up. That's what it says. Chochma goyim tamin. The goyim have chochma. They have this bechin of this derech eretz. They have the musar. They can't, not always, it's possible for a person to have the Muslim. Muslimalam in a seichel, that already not. But what's have the right thing? We have for Moshe Rabbeinu, Rabbi Nachman says in so we have to be very appreciative. It's a person not Jewish, he starts his life, he doesn't know what to do, how to do it. You got to sort of figure it all out. Well, the person, we got a couple in Sinai, we're A-okay, everything, you have a Torah, you have what's what. But what's the matam in a seichel? They can figure out what's the matam in a seichel. Nevertheless, he says Shleimus derech eretz is only in the Jewish people through the Torah. That's called a bechin of Shleimus mamish. Okay, I hear. But actually, there's a bechin of derech eretz that's possible also that it's by goyim we can learn it from them. A person has to know if he's zocheh to really, really be connected the way he's supposed to be. So derech eretz should tag along. Now, sometimes, if Nosson says, it's possible sometimes for a person to be so frum that he totally loses sight of what's real, and he does things that are the opposite of derech eretz. He says that we very often find someone very, very religious, and he can be like a diehard, and you're like, what are you doing? Are you crazy? How can you do such a thing? And the person thinks he has religious reasons to do what he's doing, but most often he doesn't. Now, there are general rules, of course. There are halachas. Halachas are halachas. So a person, Hirsch says, you first you have to say, you have Hashem, And then you have shalom. You can't have shalom. A person can have shalom and say, "Oh, we'll have shalom," and someone's like taking you away from Shabbos. I don't know what. It's not a shalom situation. It's a problem. What to do about it is a good question, but it's a problem. It has to be dealt with. That's more. That takes priority over shalom because it's not real shalom. It's fake. It's not real. It's real. The reality is Torah and connection and kedusha. It's not just about derech eretz. There's another problem. Sometimes you have this derech eretz which is very shidduchi. It's very, very superficial. So the person he has derech eretz, and he's trained in a particular way, but it doesn't mean there's real derech eretz. It could be his behemoth, like terrible behemoth, but he knows how to speak. He knows how to do. He doesn't litter because he's not a litter bug. He doesn't this, isn't that. But he can be like mamash a crazy person. So it's this thing of the real derech eretz. Person like the Torah, he'll have real derech eretz. It'll be genuine. It'll be through and through, right? Like the Aron, it's gold inside too, not just gold outside, gold inside. Right? Chazal say, but it's not a pashta sugya the derech eretz. But sometimes you have a person who's very serious. He's very, very committed, and because of his commitment, he doesn't have derech eretz. Because in this way, he doesn't have derech eretz. But nevertheless, if you get to know the person, you'll find this thing he has. I don't know. Sometimes he's takan b'shugas. Sometimes he has just a shita, which is a little hard to figure out. But other than that, it could be the person has a lot of derech eretz. You have to figure it out. Try to work it out. I remember there was a taxi driver I was driving with. I don't think this guy was even religious. He said, people they're very angry at there are certain yidden, the Meir Sharmdik, they wear these like the zebra, these guys are very they're kilu kanoi, and they're very strict. They protest, whatever their things are. He said, but these guys are really with money. They're really on the ball. They pay on time. They're masuder. They're not gonna mess you up. They're everything. He's like, I love these guys. I love working with these guys. These guys are great. Like. So there's a certain chinuch, that's a good chinuch. And maybe the other things, I don't know, this is a good big question mark. I don't understand these things at all. But I'm just saying, it doesn't mean that through and through there's a problem. Sometimes there are certain things which are a little hard for us to really understand. And maybe it's a genuine, it could be a genuine shita, it could be not so much. It depends maybe who, it depends what. For sure, when you're a kanoi and you're doing whatever you're doing, it has to be the shin shamayim. If you feel a drop of anger, a drop of personal ego in it, you lost your whole. It's absolutely not a mitzvah. Parshas Korneni Shita, pretty much. Again, unless if you see someone trying to kill someone, so then obviously it doesn't matter how you feel. You have to save them, right? The Gemara says, "What's a chayil of Yechosid Shaita?" Someone sees a lady drowning, and he's like, "No, she's not dressed properly. Who knows what her deal is? Is she swimming? Who knows how she's swimming? No, let her die." It's like, no. That's a Chosid Shaita. It's not. See this. You have to save the person. You can't let them die. Right? So there are levels. They kind of maybe it's like that. Yeah, it's hard to make the tzush tell a little bit, but one way or the other way, the ma'isa, the facts are that a person has to be zocher. We want to be zocher to derech eretz. We want to get to this place of derech eretz. And we want the best derech eretz, the biggest derech eretz, the derech eretz you can get from the Torah. Sometimes a person can use other things. It's such a thing. And like I said, so Slanta did, different other people did. The Vayechi bring from various places. The Rebbeinu Yonah brings Chacham. He brings them, and some of us brings this little Chacham, a non-Jewish Chacham, and. He says, we speak about Lashon, about Ratzon, he says that the non-Jewish Chacham say a person who wants Chachma, he's a Chacham. And he doesn't say it, but they're wrong on how it's this way, is this way. He's like, yeah, that's totally true. That's on the ball, on the money. He's like, you really, it's like, he brings it as something which is something to be reckoned with and which is true. It's not, people have this idea of it's non-Jews, it's not true. You have to be careful not to go after negative negative ideas and negative things, negative ways, but it doesn't mean that anything that this is all no good. It's not necessarily. You have to know what the person said and how it's going, but you have to be careful not to fall into this trap that derech eretz is everything, because it's not. Torah Hashem is everything. But you have derech eretz. Derech eretz is like a binyan. It's like a building without any foundation. It's a very shaky situation. The main thing is that you have to find a foundation. You have to get the foundation in. But the binyan still, if you only have foundation, you're in the ground and you have nowhere to live, you have no life, there's nothing there. Okay, it's important, but what about Torah? What are all these things? Right? So